Let's make it work.
All right, we are live. We are making it work.
Just
We are
log
doing some
in.
things. I'm trying to do some things that aren't working. Hi, I am Dani Tirrell.
I am Randy
Uh,
Ford.
I'm Mase the third.
And we are the living room. Well, that was such a horrible intro.
Was I
That was
supposed to say it?
like,
Was that my role as the last one? I was supposed to like jump in and say the living room.
I don't know. It was just so horrible.
Yeah. So for those
Oh,
of y'all that are watching and heard us give that terrible intro of ourselves, so the living room is, of course, a podcast featuring myself, Dani, and Randy. And what we do is we talk about fashion, we talk about politics, we talk about how we're feeling. We ask cancer sign questions like "How is your heart?" which Dani is trying to introduce, and I'm against that. But so we try to get into all kinds of things. Yeah, today we're going to be getting into some fun things where we're going to get to where y'all going to get to ask us some questions. We're going to hopefully learn some new things about y'all. We're trying out this platform, StreamYard, which this is the first time we're running it on this platform. So hopefully you all can see us both on YouTube and Facebook. Yeah, and we'll be able to see all your comments consolidated where we are. So please jump in whenever, leave a comment, and we'll answer it live on camera. So yeah, let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I have no idea where we're at right now. I'm not following my script at
I think
all.
we're at blessings and bullshit. So I
Wait,
think
no, let's talk about who's our maybe producers, CD Forum, maybe, or nah. Is that not what we do every time in the script?
This will be okay. We are so out of it today. This is so hilarious. Okay, let's start over. Y'all know we did living room. We did the intro. This will be recorded, so please understand that will be recorded and posted later. Actually, I think it will go directly to YouTube, so you can come back and watch it later. If you don't want your name to be shown, try to hide it in the ways that you need to hide it, however that looks like for you.
We want
Yes, commitment to collective growth. This is something new. We want to make sure that as we move through these conversations, we are holding ourselves accountable along with the audience. We, the hosts and creators of the living room, want to make sure voices that are Black, trans, non-conforming, and gender variant are centered. If offering up thoughts, own your experience. We, the hosts of the living room, reserve the right to not engage with anyone that will cause harm to the communities we are in relationship with. Listen and speak from a place of understanding and love. We are committed to a place of collective growth and healing for Black, trans, and non-binary people. We are open to the idea of collective growth with some of our solidarity partners. We are doing our quarantine house party, and we all at our own different houses. Hey. So that's happening.
Yes.
Yes, we're using a new platform. We're going to see how this works. We know that we're taking away the interactive elements of Zoom, but also, we're just trying different things. So that's all I can say on that. Yeah. Now it's time for blessings and bullshit.
Yeah. So and also as we're answering this stuff about blessings and bullshit, for people that are familiar with us, know that blessings and bullshit, we're just gonna say what our blessings and bullshit was for the week. That's very, just up front. And then if you have some blessings and bullshit that happened during your week, you're free to leave them in the comments, and then we can engage with you, and we can even read them live on the air. How great is that? So we would love to know what your blessing and bullshit was for the week.
And if you don't want your comments posted, say don't post my comments.
Oh, you mean don't? You mean yeah, because we can put your comment on our screen here. So if you don't want that, please just say you want it anonymous. But if we like your comment, we want to put it on the screen. We typically do, or that we're going to be trying that with this new platform.
Yes.
So I believe I'm first. Blessings and bullshit, operates like rose and thorn. So some of my blessings, I'm gonna start with my blessings before I get into my bullshit, because holy cow, I have a lot of bullshit. But I got a new computer, which is one of my blessings.
Yay.
The lighting on that camera is good. That camera is good. I like this camera.
You know,
Yes.
skin looking good, hair looking good in high def. So yes, I was able to get a new computer and get it written off to get as a work expense. So absolutely. I had a really good day for the first time in like a week since all the protests started yesterday. So I was very much having a joyous experience at the Lavender graduation keynotes. And yeah, that was amazing. Congrats to the class of 2020. I also made a sappy post for all of us dropouts out there. Yeah, it was just really awesome to be part of it and to like really share the joy that, you know, the college graduates and some of the people that tuned in live, because we opened it for all schools, not just UW, but all schools and even high schoolers. And so people got to see on YouTube and participate in that way and like post like what they're graduating from. And a lot of them put like, I'm graduating from self-doubt, and I'm graduating from, you know, it's been 8 years since I found a job and I'm finally getting a job. And I'm like, yes, like absolutely. So it was really special to just have that under my belt as a keynote speaker. Like, oh shit, at, you know, my alma mater. Some of the bullshit though, even though I had such a joy. Oh wait, nope, sorry, one more blessing. To all the people that have been sending us food, and you know, like I got a tea cake the other day, like a citrus tea cake. And we got like homemade chicken curry, and like David got like a salad that was made. Like people have been really donating food, which has been great. And we got these Korean skincare products, and y'all know I love
a good Korean skincare product. Yeah.
Right. I tell you, these Korean skincare products, the pores juicy, like dewy. I have dry skin, so I look for juicy dewies. Don't clock me. No, I have a whole. If you look at my follow my Instagram, I did a whole deep clean. Okay, because I did a full face of makeup for the Lavender graduation, because I wanted to feel cute.
Right.
But bullshit though. So I believe I shared that my car got towed last week, and so I got something in the mail confirming that it got towed. So long story short, before all the protests, I went to check on my car. I've been parking it in a spot that's not metered for like the past literally 2 months and just checking on it periodically. And it's like nothing's ever happened to it, right? So when the protests happened on that Friday, all the way through that Sunday, I wasn't leaving my apartment because people were getting shot with rubber bullets, tear gas, and daylight. And I was like, I'm not leaving my apartment. Like I am stuck. You know, I'm just gonna go to the store, which is literally 20 feet from where I live, and I'm not leaving. And where I parked is like a mile away across where all the madness is happening. So found out where my car is, who's has it, and I'm calling them. I'm like, so what are my options? And they're like, well, you know, you have about, it's not a, you know, definite 30 days, but you have about 30 days or so to come get it. I'm like, well, is it 29? Is it 27? They're just like, we just, you know, whenever we feel like it. And so I'm just like, okay, that's dumb. I was like, why are people towing cars in the first place during a pandemic? Like, why are we ticketing cars and people? Like, we're still living in a pandemic, right? Where we can't leave our houses. We're not even in a phase 1. So like, why are y'all trying to make money off of us while we can't leave? I don't get it. So fuck Seattle Police Department. Fuck Department of Transportation, King County Municipal Court. I will be definitely coming back with a hearing to contest this, because I'm like, who, why? Like, there's no reason why my car should have been towed. Like, it's not abandoned. Like, I'm trying to sell it. So like,
Right.
Yeah, like park, and it was in a spot, like I've checked, like it's a mile away because it's in a spot where, you know, it's not metered. So it is free because it's right there. But someone either complained and was like, this car has been here. I'm just like, oh, y'all are some hoes. Some hoes. So all y'all hoes. Capitol Hill, y'all are hoes. Denny, y'all are hoes. But that's it. That's my blessing and bullshit. Lord.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was a lot.
Yep.
Okay, I guess that's up to me. Blessings. There are a lot of conversations taking place within the Black dance community and Black art world that I have been privy to, and that not privy to, but I've been tuning into. And so there are things like, people talking about theaters, people talking about like, how we can make an equitable system. The thing that is really beautiful about what's happening during COVID and is that these art organizations, people are bringing those to task, but it's not about them. It's really about the beautiful conversations. And it's very beautiful to see so many Black folks across the country, across the world, engaged in these conversations. So that is a blessing for me. My other blessing is I just feel like however you can navigate these protests is the way that you need to navigate these protests. So if you are a Black person and you need to be in the street, be in the street. If you are a Black person and you need to be behind your computer on social media, then you be on social media. If you are a Black person that's like, I want nothing to do with that, then don't do that. I think we get caught up into who is doing what and who should not be doing what and who should be doing this. I just like navigate yourself. You walking outside as a Black body is a protest within itself. So my personal take is like, do what you need to do. That's my blessing, is that I'm not here to police how you move through this. And I'm not going to do that. And I'm also not going to argue with any Black people about anything during this time. Yeah. I'm just not going to argue with Black folks about any of this during this time. Should I not brought you back? She chewing.
No, that's perfect. Perfect.
Trying to eat on the side. Host and eat, get a good calorie.
Right.
Okay.
Right. I just, my blessing is that I decided that I'm just not going to argue with Black people. Like, there's too much going on for me to sit back and try to argue with folks about anything. So I'm not about to do that. The bullshit is the world. And I don't know if this is like a bullshit or a bitch please. It's a combination of both. It's laughable, but it's not. But it's ridiculous. The Democrats wearing the kente cloth. Can we just say
it like just playing in our faces,
I saw that and I just immediately clicked to something else. I was like, I cannot engage with that buffoonery this time in the morning. And so I didn't read no stories about it. I didn't read no think pieces about it. I just want to say, like, Martha talked to John and they decided that it was a great job for them to wear this kente cloth and get on their knee. The Black people around was like, y'all gonna look like a damn fool, but okay. I mean, I don't know, like, who co-signed to this? I just think it's
yeah. So we saw Nancy Pelosi's photo at least. Like, I'm sure. Yeah, just all of them. Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can post these comments. I'm trying to read the comments too for folks. Yes, please put in your comments. But anyway, it's funny. It's funny to me because I'm just like, y'all really thought y'all was gonna be down for the cause. Like, y'all really thought we were gonna be like, yes, Democrats, yes. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like the most foolish, ridiculous thing ever. Oh, wait, is that a bitch please or bullshit?
Which one?
The influencers in blackface.
I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. I don't know if we're allowed to say fuck on YouTube. I don't know what you're talking about.
So all of these like influencers on IG and the web are donning blackface in solidarity with Black Lives Matter. It is like the worst.
I have not seen that. Something else.
Oh my God, y'all gotta look it up.
Wow. I'm gonna actually save my heart space. I will not look it up. Thank you for letting me know that it's happening. Because that's wild.
I love pop culture. That's why I'm all for the BS of it. It's just like, so you thought like some of them have like half their face black and the other half white, or this part black. Like it is like they tried to do it artistic so it wouldn't come off as blackface, but grrr.
I saw. Did y'all see? I was trying to. I'm not sure if it was a hoax or not, or a joke or not, or like whatever. But I saw people doing like a shave your head for BLM or something like that. White folks. I'm saying people. White people were doing like a shave your head, and I couldn't figure it out, so I just closed it. I was like, I'm just gonna pretend this is not happening, because what I'm invested in is we're having a global uprising in a way that we haven't seen, and so I'm just gonna meditate on that and not on the extraneous bullshit.
Wow, I'm looking at it right
now. But
I
love pop culture. This is part of it. And this is like the worst part of pop culture. So I will bring on that bullshit, because it was like, I was like, really? Did y'all
Humanity should be our race.
So I'm done with my blessings and bullshit. Mase, it's up to you. It's the worst.
Oh, I just read it. It's horrible.
So before I get into my blessings and bullshit, I just want to share some stuff from the comments. So Cleastone says, blessings, I'm hosting a BIPOC breathwork, sound bowl, drumming, journaling, and healing space on Sunday. So that sounds beautiful. And what was it? So Cleastone's bullshit was my cousin trying to say all babies matter about fetuses and going, it's okay, I'm Catholic. Because they think it's funny. Okay, yeah. Yeah, people are all kinds of things, and people, it's interesting to me what people think is funny, like people that are not impacted by stuff and will make jokes about things, and especially like around Black bodies, as if it's not killing people, right? And sometimes how do you, because it's one thing to know. So even as I'm saying, I'm trying not to absorb the places where I see people doing bullshit around stuff, or like doing actions. I feel like they're mocking Blackness and Black people and what the movement is about, because I know there's so many other good things happening. And the reality is that constant attack of having to guard your heart, adds up. And so making sure that we're guarding ourselves or protecting ourselves or finding ways to pour back into ourselves after we're dealing with all that kind of energy from other people. My blessings for this week. So I'm actually gonna take a leap. I've only done this one other time. I'm gonna take a leap and say I don't have any bullshit this week, because this is it. So because the world is fucked up. There's all these things happening. The world is burning, right? All these people are doing all the things, right? And the reality is, in this transformation and in this space of transformation, just like what 2020 has brought us, is that we know that anything can happen. We're generally thinking about it in bad ways, that because so many people are uniting right now in this moment, everything is possible, and that includes the beautiful, amazing things that we cannot even imagine. So I am just literally on fire about the ways that our world is about to change in the next year, in the next 2 years. And I'm so grateful to be a part of this moment. I've gotten to speak with some of my friends over the last few days whose lives are changing, like just changing materially in ways they never thought could imagine. So I think there is like just not, even when I think for those of us that have been a part of organizing and activism and abolition work for many years, the reality is that some things are shifting right now that we would have never even thought were possible even just 5 years ago. And so it's just I keep using this word, transformation, transformative time, and I'm ready for it. I'm just so ready for it. And I'm hoping everybody else that's here is ready for that moment in which we can actually create more spaces free from oppression and try to get to that end goal. So I'm hyped. I'm really hyped.
That's awesome. Thank you. There's some more comments. I don't know if you want to highlight those, Mase. From Anita.
Ooh. So I'm seeing a bullshit trying to teach 3-year-olds over Zoom. Blessing baby deer being born in my neighborhood. Oh, cute baby deers. Babies on Zoom is difficult, but baby deers are always adorable. So God bless. All the babies.
I hollered at that trying to teach 3-year-olds over Zoom. I hollered in my mind. I was like, good for you, because I'd be like, hell no.
I know even I wouldn't be able to do a Zoom at 3. No matter who you put on that damn computer.
One of my friends is an elementary school teacher, and she's always talking to me about the babies on Zoom. And I was like, every time she talks to me, I'm just like, I just want to just thank you again for your work and your service, because I cannot. Okay, just listening. It tires me out just thinking about it.
I applaud y'all.
Listen, thank you to the teachers on Zoom, right? Especially the elementary, preschool teachers, kindergarten teachers on Zoom. So Bullshit happened to explain to family members that Trump is terrible. Blessing being shouted out by Dita Von Teese along with Perrier Noir and the Noir Pageant Royal Court.
Okay. Pearl Noir, yes. Get it, Moscato.
Yes.
I know who Pearl Noir is. It's great.
Oh my god! Oh, this one. Blessing. After 31 years, they finally canceled that TV show Cops, right? So can we talk about all the cop propaganda that we've been watching over the years, right? So I actually had to sit with myself and think, like, why have I been watching Law and Order SVU for 20 years? It's literally a terrible show. It's literally a show in which the cops aren't even that great, right? But it's teaching us to be normal with behavior that says you should be more committed to the law than to actual morality and ethics, right? So we've been consistently conditioned, right, in that way. And Cops is also one of those things where people get some joy out of watching real people get convicted of crimes or get harassed about crimes or get accused of crimes, right? Whether or not they did them, or we know we, for some reason, have been watching people in our communities be taken down live on TV.
Right.
I can't watch Law and Order.
Yes. Before we move into our topic and what we're going to do, I kind of want to jump into like a bitch please moment. And now these are just like names I'm going to throw out there that's been in the news. You don't have to look them up because I don't want them to get any more play. But if you've been following pop culture, because that's what I do, Terry Crews, Candace Owens, I'm not for canceling folks because they cancel themselves. Like, you pretty much just cancel yourself. Like, I don't need to cancel you. But just FYI, on
it.
There's nothing to say. It's just like Candace and Terry. I just wish y'all the best. I just wish y'all the best. Like, do what you need to do for your life. I'm not doing it for you. So that's all I have to say with that. I just wanted to jump to that real quick. You know, some honorable mentions.
What happened?
Well, Candace Owens is always doing her thing. And Terry Crews, I used to love Terry Crews, and Terry Crews took a turn in the heart. I don't know where that turn took. But yeah.
What did Terry Crews say? He said something stupid.
Yeah, look at the exact quote, because I'm like, I don't know the exact quote. But so
we were talking about like black supremacy. Like if we're black people fighting white supremacy or something like that, then we're gonna black supremacy, and isn't that the same thing? Like he said something. I'm misquoting.
Oh, I did hear about that.
I'm misquoting him. But I mean,
there's this place of watching, and so to me, I'm always curious, a question I always have about people like Candace Owens, right? So for those that don't know, Candace Owens, who's consistently saying things about Black people and about what we're supposed to be doing as a Black person, is always denigrating people in media, right? Mm-hmm. And also, meanwhile, at some point in her career, actually sued her employer. Say again?
You were freezing up. You're better now.
I'm better now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So for Candace Owens, that is consistently in a place of denigrating Black people on TV for pay, right? Meanwhile, years ago, she sued her employers for racial discrimination. So there's a part of me that really clearly understands that Candace Owens can't possibly believe what she's saying out loud, but is willing to take that money, meanwhile causing actual harm to Black people on the ground. And much like Terry Crews, other people, I'm always curious as to, do people actually genuinely believe the anti-Black things they're saying as Black folks, or are they more committed to a dollar than their actual folks, which is a whole nother level of immorality, right? Because one thing to not actually understand the implications, there's another thing to know the implications and still take the goods, right? I'm even more curious about that. I don't know if y'all seen this documentary about Roe versus Wade that's came out.
I haven't seen it yet.
But the woman who was at the center of Roe versus Wade, right, who ended up later on speaking for for conservative groups against abortion and has this whole documentary out now about how she was actually doing that just to take the money, right? And it wasn't actually because her views changed. She still felt the same way about abortion, but she said, I was broke and I just needed to be taken care of, right? And so just how do we look at people in media and not and hold them accountable and understand that a lot of times they actually don't mean what they're saying. They're just saying it, you know?
Out there being clowns for the show, being the gestures for the show.
Right. I want to read this headline and then I will follow it up by something Randy and I were talking about earlier. After Twitter backlash, Terry Crews says Black men are not recognized as victims until we're dead. Okay, Terry Crews. What was that quote I said earlier today from my friend Geronimo? Black men are the white people of Black people. I'm going to say that again. Black men are the white people of Black people. I'm like, Terry Crews.
In the wrong hands.
You talking about Black supremacy and white child, and now Black men ain't seen. Like, I think the biggest problem with the protests are that it is normally Black cis men center themselves in the protests. And yes, Black cis men are dying. Black cis het men are dying. We get that, but also the labor and the work a lot of times goes to femmes, trans folks, queer body folks, but Black cis men center them and folks center them. So, I'm over it. Terry Crews, child, just go on and make bad movies like you've been doing. It's okay. Just go on and make them bad movies. So, after our Candace Owen and Terry Crews rants,
jumping into our transformation questions.
Yes. So, take it away, Randy.
So, this week we didn't know what to give you because it's been so heavy. It's been such an emotional week for all of us. We were just like, you know what, audience, let's just have y'all come up with some questions and ask us anything. So it's going to be just whatever your widow heart desires. It can be about the times. It could be about what's our favorite snack. It could be like, about your spirituality or your sexuality. It can be anything. But yeah, what do you want to know about us? We're going to get personal. We're going to talk. I have some starter questions that I love to ask people because I'm a Pisces and I like to go deep, deep down. And my first question for my lovely co-host is, who or what was popular during your coming of age? And I'm going to answer this and start it because y'all looking at me like, what do you mean?
What do you mean coming of age? I need you to define coming of age.
Right.
So Santina Vernon is an amazing, amazing, amazing woman. And she asked me this question when I took a workshop with her. And it was with a bunch of Black femmes from, we were intergenerational, like it varied in so many different perspectives and backgrounds. And she asked who or what was popular during your coming of age. And we're like, well, what do you mean? It's like, it could be any time. It could be your coming of age of when you felt like you were a reborn adult. Maybe when you were in middle school, that could be your coming of age, or high school. It can be a significant event that you like, you'll never forget this significant event. So like during any time, whether you were young or old, you don't have to say when, but what was popular during your coming of age? For me,
I'm laughing because David Ruth's in there saying Spice Girls. Okay.
Absolutely. Yes, and me and David are very close in age. So, equal.
We're not talking about how close in age you are to infancy.
Okay. I feel like y'all were like babies when Spice Girls were out. Like, I feel like y'all were literally coming out of the womb when Spice Girls were out.
That could be our coming of age. Hello.
Is your coming of age kindergarten? Like, what is your coming of age? Like, I don't understand.
David said he was 12, so I guess.
I think that's a lie. Okay.
I was
for the replay.
Definitely a baby. I was not even in diapers yet, or out of diapers yet. Anywho, during my one event that I can definitely like remember from my coming of age, and it's kind of dark, but 9/11. I just remember I remember exactly what I was doing. I remember my mom didn't let me go to school. And she was like, nope, you're not going to school. It's going crazy out there. I remember seeing the news and I was in 3rd grade. And I just remember I remember there being a whole shift and not understanding what the shift was, like why these adults were freaking out. Like I saw it and I was like, oh my God, like that's horrible. But then there was a deeper shift in paranoia, just being scared, you can just feel it. And I think I was really in tune with my empathic skills. I remember that like it was yesterday. I remember going to school the next day and my teacher being like, why weren't you here? And I was like, did you see the news? My mom was like, I'm not going to school. And so, I just remember that being really, really, really the biggest thing. That was the biggest thing, growing up for me, being to see all of it, all the madness, the buildings, people crying, and all, people, I think, teachers at my school at the time, knew people. So there was so much happening. Yeah, that's my coming of age. What's yours?
Well, according to Robert's coming of age was Dani Tirrell.
Yes. We ride slow.
My coming of age. I mean, I think that. So to me, when I think of coming of age right now, I'm thinking about a lot about. Actually, I'm going to be a little older in my coming of age, so I'm going to say in my adult years. So I think. For me, coming of age is the start of the Black trans renaissance. Right now, I think that there is this place in which there's lots of Black trans organizations that have been started in the last decade that have been really kind of coming up, that have really been changing the national landscape and how everything we see from media to the talking points that people have about trans statistics and who Black trans people are. So they came from all these organizations and actions on the ground. So I think that being proud to be Black and trans simultaneously was popular during my coming of age, even if it was just through the circle of folks that I knew and was connected to. Most definitely.
I see you.
All right. What was my coming of age? I don't know if it's necessarily a coming of age or just what I think about, which was very impactful. The HIV and AIDS crisis. I remember that being so impactful in my life. Being someone who was I don't like girls, so what does that mean? And also starting to understand during that time about I like boys and what does that mean? And HIV and what does that mean? So it's just really impactful in how the government mishandled that, how people mishandled, treated horribly people that were HIV positive, and that had AIDS. And so that for me was that moment of a transformative moment and a place of coming of age and a place of understanding. And I think that's why currently during the coronavirus, I have such feelings about how we're treating each other. Even on the street, yes, be careful, but it's almost this fear. And it's really, for me, it's bringing up how folks were treated during the start of the HIV and AIDS crisis. So that for me was the coming of age, the transformation moment. Yes.
Absolutely. And so if you're just joining us, how would you define coming of age? It's whenever you feel, it could be a series of events. It doesn't have to be one period of time. You could have multiple coming of ages. It's when do you feel like you might have evolved, or what comments in your mind from what influenced you in your upbringing? So many things.
For example, Randy and David are, remember this mythological time when they were teenagers during Spice Girls, right? That was y'all were babies during that.
Preteen.
Is this a read?
No, we're
not. The read.
11 to 12. It's okay if we were that age when they came out. It's okay. Don't be mad about it.
I don't know why. I feel I'm just I just can't be true. This can't be true.
It's true.
11 years.
Yes, David. And that meant I was 5.
I'm David is typing on the screen behind you. That's cracking me up.
That math doesn't line up.
I literally took myself out of that conversation.
age is nothing but a number. We are all beautiful and special and great. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay. So we got Tamagotchis from Callisto.
You know what?
What?
David and Randy.
What? Ooh, Glee.
No more.
No more what?
No more anything. No more. You're done.
Like real love you? No more.
Yes.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Any other
RuneScape.
RuneScape?
Was that a video game? Yeah.
I think it's a video. Yeah, it's a video game. I never really got into it. Is it like Minecraft?
Like,
I never got into that one either. Anywho.
That's for you people of a certain age.
Don't do that, Danny.
Miss Pac-Man people, we wouldn't understand RuneScapes.
That is hilarious. Hey, remember Miss Pac-Man or Snake on their phones? Remember the game Snake? You don't remember the Snake?
Sort of, like, vaguely. Do you remember?
Yes.
Support her. It's Snake. Support her.
Next question.
Scarlett played RuneScape, so Scarlett and Sam, y'all can get some RuneScape love in there.
Absolutely. Definitely played RuneScape. Okay, Scarlett, I see you. Absolutely. Macarena. Yes. Floor is lava.
I'm laughing at Scarlett being like, I remember saying, like, that's so serious. Like, you really hype over there. Like, I can feel it across the screen.
90s baby.
I'm so glad you feel seen.
So glad you feel seen.
I
Yes.
have no idea what RuneScape is.
All right.
I'm like, I still remember when Prodigy came out for the first time. Like, do y'all remember that? So back in the day, Randy, when you had to get a CD to hook up your computer to the internet, and it came through your phone, you know, and you put, so putting AOL, uploading AOL or Prodigy or whatever. I remember those games back in the day.
Okay.
You know, that's my,
What?
don't do that.
This.
What's the next question?
The next question. We're switching gears. How is your heart?
I just want to say this. So to everyone out there that's watching, okay, especially the Cancer, if you're a Cancer and you've asked this question, it's messed up. Okay, it's a messed up question. It's a
I didn't
question.
say how was your heart. I said how is all of this moving through your body. Randy, she said how was your heart.
I want to know how that thing is beating. I want to know how it's pumping, how it's
Don't let that question on me.
That question is to make people cry in public. Let me tell you what that question is about.
Yes. We need a release. We can't be holding.
Oh my goodness. Nah.
But is this a question on transformation?
Wait, say again?
Is this a question about transformation? How is your heart?
Yes.
It could be. I mean, it could be.
Is your heart transforming?
How is your heart transforming? How is your heart transforming? I like that.
That's a different question.
Okay, well, how is your heart transforming?
Fine, I will answer that question.
Thank you.
She's rude.
She is.
I think the heart is transforming and taking a stance to not argue with Black folks during this time. We spend so much time arguing with other people, other Black folks, other folks that look like us, to try to get them to prove something. And at this point in time, I'm like, I don't need to get you to prove anything. I don't need to try to get you to see anything, feel anything. You feel what you need to feel. As we can see, it can be just as jacked up as CO and TC. Like, they have some jacked up views, but it is not my duty, my job to argue with them. And I realized, like, I would take on arguments with other Black folks, and I'm just like, that's not where I want to spend my energy, because I'm about the joy and liberation of Black folks. So me arguing with you is taken away from me actually trying to move towards some change within the other things that I care about that will affect us all. So that's how my heart is changing. Just, I ain't trying to argue with Black folks.
I hear you.
Yeah.
J-May.
Like, how is my heart transforming? I think I'm generally a very nihilistic person. So I think I'm very much usually used to thinking about what bad things could happen or what's the outcome that could happen that I don't want. While my heart is transforming, is I'm making intentional space to believe in the possibilities of good things and great things and wonderful outcomes. And I think, again, that's just being in community with folks that are making amazing things happen. So I think, yesterday I was telling Dani and Randy, I was like on the phone with a friend, and y'all, I don't know if y'all have ever experienced this, but I had a friend tell me some good news in their life, and it was so good that it made me tear up. And I'm sitting there like crying on the phone, like, yes, you deserve this. And just listening to my friend like have this moment of joy, that like kind of it healed something in me just to hear them be that excited. And I don't know if y'all know about Tauruses, but Tauruses don't do that. Like we don't just be like crying and having tears over other people's success. Like that's not our skill set, And so I think that's my heart is softened in so many different directions, thanks to my friends. Yeah. Yeah. I'm soft. I moved to the West Coast to be soft. I moved out here just to like be a marshmallow. So I'm becoming a marshmallow.
There's some really great comments on this. Comments coming through. I don't know if you want to share those.
Oh, I haven't shared.
I know we're trying to like spread the love on the new platform. We're trying to spread the love.
He's literally in the same room as me.
My heart is giving you cardiopulmonary tease. The blood cells are being pumped as the heart emotions. Okay, David. Oh my goodness.
Literally doing work.
And Khaleesi, my heart is black. Black people only probably gonna stay that way through the phase 1 through 5, and that's how my life looks. So inshallah. Okay. I'm Randy Ford. How is your heart transforming?
Who, me?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, just little old you. Little old you.
Little me.
Yeah.
How long have I been in the industry?
That was hilarious.
Say that.
Is it great you watched it? Okay, everyone, shout out to Norman Freeman. If you've ever watched Norman Freeman, holy cow, like literally watch it. I'm not gonna go into Norman Freeman. My heart, it is transforming. I am usually a person who avoids conflict. I'm usually very much like a mediator. Like I always try and like straddle the fence, but I'm learning that I'm actually kind of being a little bit, not confrontational, but I can stand in the room and not crumble when there's conflict around. Usually like if there's conflict, I'm just like, okay. And I like retreat slowly, silently back up and whatever. I try to stay as neutral as possible. But I think just as I'm stepping into myself, I'm learning that that as long as you're standing your ground, I'm also going to stand mine too. And then how are we going to move forward? You know what I mean? So let's just this. We can both do this. So yeah, I'm learning that I can step up to the plate a little bit more in terms of that. And like pick a side and stand in it. Like I'm really learning to like not stand for something, or to like not, I'm trying to, like just be clear, be more direct with like what I'm doing, where my energy is being poured into, who I'm pouring my energy into. I think my heart is also opening up to trust people. And that kind of just like, okay, because I usually rely on myself for a lot of things. And so I'm kind of learning to reach out more and like state my needs and not being too upset or beat myself up if people can't hold what I need. Being able to say that and state that I need something is as much of the journey as good as getting the need. So yeah, I'm learning to speak up overall. My heart is speaking. I'm speaking. From my heart. It's beating loud now.
Yes.
Loudly. Rawr.
And I think that's such an important place of, letting ourselves get into the space of being clear about our needs, demanding what we want, and just, because I think for a lot of us, especially coming from targeted communities, you get used to trying to make sure sometimes you get used to trying not to get too much attention, right? Because that can often mean a lot of negative outcomes. And so just being able to say, no, I'm not like, did I ever tell you on the how I shut down the barbershop? Did we ever talk about this?
No.
So I was at the barbershop. So I'm telling you all this. Okay, so and this was right after while the Bill Cosby case was kind of going on. And so, going to the barbershop as a trans mass person and specifically as someone at the time like very androgynous and trying to like really not draw too much attention to myself. Like I want a haircut. I really don't want to fight. I just like want to just get my hair cut, right? And so I usually just bring a book and I pay attention to myself. And so I'm in the chair, and so it's this other guy who's sitting next to me, and he's also getting his hair cut. He's like in his 60s, I would say. So older Black gentleman in his 60s. And he's, you know, and everybody in the shop, so it's all these different dudes, and they're all talking about how messed up the case with Harvey Weinstein is, I think, at the time. I think that's who was also at the time. And they're all talking about sexual assault, how it's terrible. And then they get to Bill Cosby, okay? And then they get to Bill Cosby, and something in the atmosphere changes. And suddenly, the guy next to me, so 6-year-old dude, so 6-year-old cat, is sitting there talking about how, you know, say again?
60-year-old dude?
Yeah, he's like 60 years old, you know? And he's sitting there talking about how, you know, how people are overreacting, and how his roommate back in the day he's basically admitting that his roommate back in the day used to slip Quaaludes to women. This is basically his story. And so he's talking about how these women were acting like they don't remember. Like, it was a terrible, disgusting story. And all the guys, all these big butch guys are sitting there saying nothing. And so I'm sitting there, I'm shaking in my skin, I'm breaking into a sweat. And at some point I say, you need to stop talking. And he was like, what? I was like, you're disgusting to me. You disgust me, okay?
Hello.
It's disgusting. Your roommate was a rapist, and that's the end of the story, right? And so I'm saying this, and everything in the shop just stops, right? And so, you know, some guys are sitting there like saying like, you know, thank you so much for saying something. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for speaking up and all this stuff. And so in this moment, I had been sitting here all this time being so nervous to take up space because I was sitting here trying not to be perceived as this silly, weak, faggy guy when it's like, I am that faggy, awkward guy. And I'm amazing, right? Like, and I deserve the space. And these big butch guys with all their masculinity can't even stand up for each other to each other, right? And so that taught me something about my power in that moment because I've usually tried to defer or just like try to be, you know, try to back up a little bit around in I think especially in cis men spaces, like I usually don't feel I don't feel safe or I don't feel comfortable, all the other kind of stuff. And I'm like, y'all scared of each other. Y'all can't even talk to each other.
Okay.
I think it's
your homie.
right.
Friend.
I find it like interesting, not interesting. I find it beautiful and interesting when people walk into their power and they know how to take up space and they feel confident enough to take up space. Oftentimes people tell us that we cannot take up space. Oftentimes, I was having a conversation with someone, I think this week, or last week, and we were talking about their space and how they have power and they need to take up space and they need their voice heard. And oftentimes we think institutions, we think people in power, we think people that have more than us have more power. And so we don't take up space and we walk in like going like almost apologizing for existing. And so it's beautiful when people start to say like, no, what I'm starting to love are people, especially Black folks, saying like, no, you don't have that power over me. Like, I don't benefit from you, you benefit from me. And so now that is my reality, and now that I know that, I'm going to say the things that I should have said to you a long time ago. And it takes a while to do that. So, and I'm trying to get my thoughts together, but it's so beautiful to see people start to take up that type of space and walk into that type of power. I believe whatever you believe in, God, the universe, ancestors, the trees, the stars, if it is meant for you to have that thing, you're going to have that thing and nobody can take it away.
Hello.
And you are the only one for that thing. So it's not like if they take it away, I'm not going to be able to do it. Like, no, that was given to you for a reason. So I just like that we're having conversations about taking up space and walking into our power because we need to do that more.
Yes.
We need to encourage people more. It's like I'm crying. I'm not crying. My eye just water and shit. I don't know why. I'm not even crying.
It's hot.
Anyway, so I just wanted to like hit that home for a minute that's just been so important to me the past few days, talking about taking up space and seeing the transformation inside of that. Folks, if you have questions about transformation, if you have that, you can type them into the comments via YouTube or Facebook, and we will get to those questions. You can ask us personal questions about transformation. And so we still have some questions that we're going to go through, but if you have questions out there, we can definitely answer those.
Put your questions in the comments.
Yes.
I'm curious. So for Sam, who said we really got to start talking about toxic solidarity beyond class solidarity, I'm curious what what else is on your heart about that, if you want to type it in the comments.
Yes. Expand on that a little bit more. Yeah. And while that's happening, we got some more questions, Randy. Prepared questions.
Well, okay. We are zooming through these questions. What are you
Robert?
You only love Dani, Robert? You see that coming on our little podcast. You only love Dani.
See that, right?
You only love Dani, Robert. Okay, we see how it is. It's cool.
The old hoe gets the love. The old hoe gets the love.
Trans fags need love too. Okay, let me tell you that. All right. Okay.
What are you hoping and dreaming for? And it's very broad. I'm not going to make it basic. Just answer.
This is not questions on transformation.
This is.
It is like, what do you hope? Like, because I think it's also about like, what are you hoping and dreaming for in the world, right? So, like, so in this world, during all this transformation, Dani, what are you hoping and dreaming for? Like, what do you hope happens? What do you hope manifests?
I hope our perspective really changes, and that we really start thinking more just outside of what's comfortable. Like, I'm really interested in like sitting in this uncomfortability and really like kind of like being pressured by it to like do something that I've never could have dreamed of. So I hope that we really transform like believing in ourselves, our willpower. I hope we transform how we engage with other communities, especially the Black community. Like, I hope that, in a perfect world, we're all on one huge utopia and everything's, amazing. But if we can't get to that, I hope there's like a level of like respect for one another, whether we're, keeping our distance, whether we're, kind of in our lanes, our own lanes, doing our own thing. Like, I hope that we really like weave this networking quilt. I just have a dream of a networking quilt of just like, we have our own stuff. White people are not phased, or we're not phased by white people, but when they try to latch on, we are going to be like, oh, you're looking now? Oh, sad. Like, I want to be at that point where like, we are literally like, where we really believe in the standard. And we, like, just act off of that. Yeah, I hope that we really just transform our way of thinking. I'm hoping that I transform my way of thinking. So.
I'm hoping that, so we're looking at cities that are willing to disband police forces. So I'm hoping for the disbanding of police. I'm hoping for actual transformative justice. I'm hoping for ways in which we're able to deal with harm without incarcerating people, like knowing that most of the folks that are in jail right now are people that are still waiting for court cases and haven't really been charged, or like knowing that all these different disparities are existing. I'm hoping to an end of cash bail. I'm hoping that we don't stop at the place. So I think even when lots of us are talking about defunding police, abolish police, a lot of people are like, I don't agree with this because I can't imagine what that world looks like. I'm hoping people start to trust in a dream and a possibility of living in a world without oppression. I hope we are able to get a space where we make room for that in our hearts, that just because I can't see all the particulars just yet, doesn't mean it's not necessary and doesn't mean it's not possible. It takes all of us to make that a reality.
Awesome. Thank you. I wanted to jump to Sam's tag on with that. It was in response to your barbershop story, Mase, toxic solidarity between cis men to protect one another. He's one of the boys, not he's a rapist. So that was in response to we need to go ahead, Mason.
No, I was just saying that, so in that sort of situation, a lot of times people are like, well, where are all the rapists, right? So because people, they're challenging who rape victims are because they're like, well, who are the rapists? It's like, well, the rapists are all around you, right?
Yes.
The rapists are everywhere. So,
Right.
accepting that, just like I've never been in a room of trans and queer people, and I experience a lot of people who've experienced sexual assault or rape or all those different things. It's being in rooms of women and femmes, like you're going to experience lots of people who experience rape and sexual assault. So the rapists are around, right? So that's just is what it is.
Yeah.
I think that toxic solidarity it's like when can men call in other men, or when can communities call in people from their own community and be held to the standards that we put everyone else that we, are harmed. You know what I mean? Like, when can we do that? I think that kind of maybe ties into what Sam is probably, at least that's what I got from it, when how to really address ego, and like accepting the fact that, we all can, again, like you said, it's all around us. There are so many things to unlearn, so many things we're conditioned, so many dynamics that we're conditioned to believe in, you know what I mean? As far as who has power, like whoever huffs and puffs the loudest, you know what I mean? Don't mess with them. It's like, actually, they tend to be the weakest people, you know what I mean? And if people shutting down that bullshit, being like, no, we will not stand for that. You need to get the hell out of here. When can we actually say that? Because I often think about, the women, that I know, again, who are stuck in abusive relationships, because there's this thing about once you find someone who loves you and whatever, that's all you need, or once you have children, you know what I mean, and all of these dynamics, and then a lot of the times we're not holding the abusers to this, we're blaming the people for staying in the situation, instead of being like, you're the abuser, you're the one literally causing the harm.
Right.
When can we roll up and be like, you want to jump somebody, jump us, you know what I mean? When can we start doing that? That's kind of the stuff that I want to see when it comes to that. How do we address that? When things are too toxic, we tend to shut down. I'm like, actually, if we band together and be like, little person, little boy, insecure little, you know what I mean? And just and then also get the care that they need, you know what I mean? Because people who hurt people are hurt themselves,
Exactly.
how do we, have a restorative justice versus just, closing them all out to go congregate with one another, and permeate more toxicity. Whew.
Yeah, and I think so. Even when I'm thinking about that, just thinking about prevention, right? So because I think that there's I don't know, because even with restorative justice, there's a place, I'm sure, for each and every single person. Every survivor wants something different. And so even, some people, I'm like, I remember for myself, coming out of different relationships, stuff like that. I remember after a particular relationship that was violent, right? People ask me, what do you want to happen to this person? You want them just to disappear from community? Even meanwhile, they weren't doing anything to actually prevent the person's violence or keep them from being violent to anybody else, right? What do you them not doing anything? They were just like, what do you want? Want them to disappear? And I was like, honestly, if that could happen, that would be great. So I'm not this person in my life that I'm like, yeah, let's just give them a few years and just whatever. So yeah, we all want different things. But really, to me, restorative justice is about preventing future harm and creating worlds where we can actually talk about accountability and talk about justice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
And what does that look like? You said everything's different. Can we live in a world where everything's different, where it varies based off of so and so? It's not perfect, but it's a something.
Right.
And also going with that, just thinking about because thinking about the kind of politics that many of us have, so again, even for myself, thinking about a world without police, or thinking about a world where we abolish those sorts of systems, being really critical of how are we actually going to, again, what processes are we committed to? I see lots of reformists as well as abolitionists sometimes not think about what are the particulars. So now that, because again, I want us to imagine and sit and think about what is the actual structure of what this is going to look like, because people have harm right now, cannot go to the police right now, are scared of their communities right now. Mm-hmm. So there's some stuff we can even implement even while the system still exists, right? Exactly. Because there's ways in which our communities have never been able to trust those policing systems, right?
Right. Hey, folks, again, if you have any questions for us, you can type them in the comment. We're talking about transformation. We're talking about
Randy's like anything. Okay.
Anything.
Anything.
We want you to talk about all of the movement transformations that's going on with hormones. Hormones, that is.
Can we talk about hormones one day? One day we should just talk about hormones. Actually, honestly.
About it.
Listen, like,
I mean, is that a transformative conversation?
It is a transformative question. It's transforming. It's transforming me right now. Hormones do a lot of things, right?
What do you want to know about hormones?
I don't want to know anything. I just think we need to have some space as trans people talk about it.
It's just about hormones.
Beautiful questions about hormones. I don't know, like just whatever. But one day I need, so not today, but one day I need a whole hour for us to talk about hormones. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, we'll do a whole hour.
Listen. Yes.
That's a Sesame Street lesson. I love it. Like, sit your children down. Like, we're going to talk about hormones. This is a family conversation.
And like all the things about hormones too, like the benefits, pros and cons. You know what I mean? Like,
oh my goodness.
Greener.
I mean, it could be green and brown at the same time. I don't know.
It can be that as well too, but it ain't always the tea.
Right.
It might not be a lush field, but it'll be populated. How about that? Like,
right.
Some little rosebud sprout.
I have a transformation question.
What you got?
What's your transformation question?
When did you know that you were not who people thought you were or said you were? Like, we are labeled things, we're called things, people say things to us. When is that moment where you were like, oh, I'm actually not that thing?
Because even when you're saying that, I'm like, when did I learn to stop thinking that the adults in my life knew what they were talking about? And that age was 12. So I think 12 was when I started sort of having some sort of thoughts around, not necessarily thoughts about gender stuff, but articulating it and then getting something weird back from people. And be like, oh, this adult person, they don't really know what they're talking about, but that's cool. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing over here.
Right.
I was definitely also around 12. I want to say I was, in middle school was when I started like being like church. Ugh, like I just started hating going. And I was just like, ugh, what are y'all talking about? Y'all don't know what the fuck you're doing. And yeah, like that was when I was really like kind of being like, well, people at school are fine with me. Y'all ain't. So yeah, definitely middle school. The emotional turmoil of middle school. Where I had my little emo phase and I started listening to alternative rock.
All into Daria. So Daria was like my idol at that age. Like, so like back in high school, I was definitely like had like those big chunky boots, had the pleated skirts in situations, had all the stuff, you know. Oh, I was cute. So number one, I was cute.
I know you were.
Daria is my hero.
Can I please get a photo? I know there's a photo.
I'm sure there is, but I had like pink hair streaks. That was like, I mean,
I won't post it.
I was like, what's different from now?
It's not really changed. You know, more tattoos, less jewelry, you know.
Yes.
Shorter hair, a little bit more facial hair, you know, all that stuff. You know.
Okay.
Transformation. Like I'm a whole new person.
Right.
What about you, Dani?
I think that hits me at several different times in my life. I think it's always not crying. My eyes watering, and I don't know why.
Yeah, fan.
I think there are moments in my youth that I was just like, no, I'm not that. I think in this journey of self-discovery, it's definitely this thing of like, I don't have to hold on to things that people told me I was. Like I can let that stuff go. So I think it hits you at several times. Points in your life as you get older, you release some things about yourself that you've been told.
I said we hope that you do.
Well, yeah,
some people.
Right. So I definitely try very hard to like understand that the things that I thought was no longer existing. They never existed. I was taking on somebody else's trauma and drama and that. So I think it's a consistent thing. You'll learn some different things about yourself as you go forward. And you're like, oh, that you said that, but that's actually not true. And it never was true. That was actually good stuff that you put on me. So we carry a lot of other people's weight. You know, everyone's like, you know, you carry so much weight. It's like, actually, we carry a lot of people's weight. We carry a lot of our parents' weight, community weight. Like, we carry so much weight that's not ours. And so it's nice to give it back to people. Like, here, you can take that back. That was a little too heavy for me. So,
you
have a comment on the side from the room.
So that's my job.
Not youth related, but lately, like these past few months, I really realized that my real life self is a bit different than the hyper cute arts professional that Seattle thought I was, only capable of being. I'm just gonna laugh at that because David Rue has been reading the children down,
giving them a public ass whooping.
Oh my God, it's been like what a.
In front of
talk about transformative. That alone is transformative.
Realize you're not just all as bubbly wubbly all the time. You can actually throw that hammer down. All right, switching gears. Which celebrity or celebrities can get it?
Who asked this question? Danny, did you ask this question?
No, I didn't ask that question.
What is that?
No, who asked that question?
You know.
Can I say,
it's hot in her pants.
Listen. Like, listen, Pisces energy. Pisces energy all day. What celebrity? So Michelle Yeocello, especially from the If That's Your Boyfriend video, can get it all fucking day.
Absolutely.
Oh, my goodness. And Raphael Sadiq, holy crap. That man is fine as hell. So Raphael Sadiq, like 50, 51, I don't know how old Raphael Sadiq is, but if he's watching, for whatever reason, I don't know what you have going on in your life. I'm looking right in the camera because I want you to know that I'm serious. But anytime, any place, I'm in Seattle, I can travel to wherever you are, inshallah. Okay, so I'm ready.
Absolutely. Oh, Danny, who you pulling up? Oh.
Yes. Yeah.
Long.
Oh, yes.
All motherfucking day long.
Gorgeous.
Hello.
Y'all saw the Black Mirror episode with him?
Yes.
That Black Mirror episode. Dre, did you see this?
Which Black Mirror episode?
It's the Striking Vipers in season 5.
Yes. Oh, the video game one? Oh, yeah.
Yes. If y'all need to watch him in that because it's just.
I don't know why I love this episode. I usually would hate that episode.
Why you will love that episode? Like, come on.
I would usually hate stuff surrounding cis men discovering their sexuality and thus being hyper. But that was everything. I loved it. I was like, no, this is so beautiful. I was like, this is so beautiful. Like,
have y'all seen him in Watchmen?
The series? No.
I haven't. I've only watched a few episodes of Watchmen, and it was at your house actually. So I haven't really seen.
I say that he's very exposed in Watchmen.
Oh, is he Dr. Manhattan?
I don't know.
Danny's not watching. Danny was not watching for the coherence of the story. Danny was watching for the man.
It was a beautiful, beautiful surprise.
Oh, and I'm hot and bothered. There's a whole plot.
I'm only hot and bothered because you brought up the question.
There's a whole plot with that series, just so you know, not just naked people.
It's a pretty intense plot. It's a pretty intense necessary plot. But like, sure.
I was there for the plot. Like, I watched the plot, and then the last few episodes, I watched the plots.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
man.
Very nice. Very nice.
Ooh. You know who gives me the plot? Tiana Taylor. Like, that is a woman who I would love to worship, like in her full glory. Just like if her and her husband ever want to like have tea casually. Like,
Tea casually.
oh,
That's what you want.
so
You want tea.
I am so down. Like I had to roll up the partition down. So yeah, Taylor, Janelle Monáe. I think she is so beautiful. And
Maxwell, I think it's fine too.
yes, is that M'Baku?
That's Winston Duke.
Say him. Huh.
It's not like I don't have a type or anything.
You have a definite clarity.
Oh my
clarity.
God. So beautiful. So beautiful. And Kehlani. Those are kind of like what's really just pulsating in my mind. Mm-hmm. They can get it. They can get it. They can get it.
Julian fucking Woodhouse. Julian fucking Woodhouse is what
Julian
Woodhouse! I don't even know who that is. I Google that.
Julian Woodhouse is a beautiful model. He was also in the army or military. He's like a military fashion brat. Oh my God. His Instagram, Julian, and he follows us.
Okay.
He knows. Yes. That face.
Y'all are really wigging out back there. over
like when he was posting his like thirst, he was doing thirst traps before thirst trap was a thirst trap. Oh my God. And he's family too. Yeah. Ooh. Jeez.
I'm like, y'all have a very different type than I got. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't.
We know this.
We know.
That's cool.
Oh, we know.
Listen.
Oh. Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Look, we got viewers. Who are y'all peeping? Because I know we got people. Oh my gosh. No, Julian Woodhouse. Oh my gosh. Even Dani Evans. She is so beautiful. She was the America's Next Top Model who closed her gap. She is so beautiful. I'm just like, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, Sam, you are 100% correct.
Elon Noel.
Oh yes, Insecure.
Oh, what movie is he in?
Insecure.
I'm like this. That's how I didn't know his name till now. Thank you for making sure we knew his name.
The whole cast of Insecure can get it. Like even TSA. Have y'all seen?
Wait, see TSA? Seen the show TSA?
His name is TSA. He's a TSA guy, and he's this goofy dude. Like he is he's one of Issa's playmates. Then like he's like works at TSA, gives her free liquor and stuff like that, and she be like him and her be screwing, and he's like the first like not beefy muscular dude that's on. He has like he's little chubby, and he's like, you ain't messing with like a real, full-size nigga. And I'm like, ooh, like, and they have a whole sex scene. I'm like, what? Like yes. Yeah. And Molly's little Asian boo, you can get it too.
I apparently have to catch up because I like Gallant for no reason. Do y'all know Gallant? The singer? He's scrawny, kind of like nerdy looking kind of guy, singer, brown skin. Yeah, really cute, really just like, got a very quiet presence. Yeah, I think he's gorgeous. I don't know. Let me see if I can do my phone. Danny's doing all the work.
Little pull up.
But God like did a feature on Insecure with someone's friend.
Yeah, that's Molly's boo.
Oh, that's Molly's boo. But I think Gallant might have been on the episode that let me see if I can pull it up.
Danny, who was that actor from that Medea play?
Medea play?
I think I'm thinking of someone else I was with. I was watching with Stefan. Oh my God. Ooh. His name.
It's like Gallant. Gallant.
Gallant is pretty.
And he has a beautiful effing voice. But he was in one episode of Insecure. Might have been when she met the Asian boo. Because I can't. I'm trying because I remember that he was on there with someone else at the same time. So I think that might have been the same timeline. Actually, he was only on there for like one episode though.
Okay. Christian Key.
You saw Gallant twice? Yeah, so Sam says that they saw Gallant twice. Yes. Yes, and his voice is just amazing. He's gorgeous. Gallant is gorgeous. Gorgeous. And I think I said this before, but Maxwell definitely. Definitely.
Maxwell, huh?
Yeah. Are you old enough to remember Maxwell?
Yes, the one song when I was 4.
Who?
That came out.
I don't even know why I asked you.
Yes, Get Out.
Yes. Yeah.
We're just having fun with this.
We are.
We just went on a whole 10-minute rant about just sexy ass people.
Y'all talking about me. You know you was thinking it.
Listen, I haven't thought of people for a little while, but it's good to get it out in the open. Yeah, what are the questions? So we have about 10 minutes left or so. Do people have any other questions for us in the world?
Yeah, David.
What?
Who's this? I can't even see.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Dana. Okay. Y'all's obsession with them is cracks me up. So if they're, I don't even know if they'd be watching.
Who? Oh, you know that person, of course?
Yeah.
Of course. You know everyone.
No, I mean, we're all connected in some way. We know each other mostly through the internet, but we're all connected in some way.
I mean, I don't care if they're watching or not. I'm just crushing on them. That's just all.
Yes.
That's just it.
Okay, I have one more question.
Okay.
I'm typing it in.
Typing it in. Making it banner. Making it nice. Making
it nice and colorful.
Yes, I know, folks. This is a new platform, a new format for us. So some of the interaction stuff is taken away, but we hope you're having a smoother experience outside of Zoom, and we're connected to all of the things. So yes. What's your next question, Randy?
When Rona is over and done with, where are you going first?
Ooh, I'm going to Miami first. I'm going to Miami first.
Why Miami?
Someplace, because I was thinking about Vegas or Atlantic City or someplace that is dependent upon the things to be open, and I just want to be in some place with just air and water. And so I'm also not entirely sure how much Americans are going to be allowed to travel after this right now. Actually,
They're traveling in America. Do they travel in America?
I'm trying to be realistic with myself about being here. I want to be imaginative about a free world, but I also want to be realistic about where I might be putting my feet for the next year. So, which might be just on U.S. soil. Yeah.
Avery said literally soul.
Yes. Literally South Korea.
That's a hard question because in a few weeks I leave to go to New York.
Right? David's face, you should see it.
It's because a friend needs some help there, not in crisis, but they need some support surrounding some things. So that's why I'm going. And then me and the person that I'm married to, we are going to take a 35-hour road trip to somewhere.
New York? Or not?
No.
35 hours of driving time?
Yeah, yes. Every time it comes out of my mouth, I cringe.
35 hours of driving? Nonstop?
Oh, no, we stopping.
Okay.
We're going to stop in Salt Lake City, Utah. We're going to stop in, I think we're going to stop in Albuquerque.
Okay.
We're going to Texas for a reason that I can't talk about now.
Yes, you better give us an exclusive.
You two already know what it is. Y'all know what it is. I think y'all know what it is. But yes. You said what?
They don't need to know.
No, they don't know. They don't need to know. No, they don't need to know. But anyway, so that's 35 hours both ways.
That's a lot.
That's
My lovely husband doesn't want to get on a plane. I don't blame him.
what if
And
we
he's
get y'all a
like,
hazmat?
huh?
What if we get y'all a hazmat suit? Like Naomi Campbell.
Yes. So the thing is, like, we were supposed to go to London, but our London trip got canceled. The airlines was like, bitch, you are from the United States. You are not coming over here. That's pretty much what they said. They were like, your lovely trip to London is canceled. And they was like, bitch, we don't want y'all.
Yes.
Like, that's pretty much what it was. That's what they should have just said. And I would have completely understood. So we are taking a long drive because we had a long time off to go to Texas. And yeah, we'll be talking about that in the next coming months.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
So yeah, that's it. What about you, Randy? Did you say anything?
Oh yeah, there's so many things. There's I literally was talking to a friend last night and they brought up Iceland. And I was like, that could be a cute little thing, or Alaska to see the Northern Lights.
Mhm.
I was like, that'd be cute to do like a little Northern Lights trip, especially when I start driving. I want to start like just driving places where I can. But perfect world, Ghana. Like that would be the first place in a perfect world I can go abroad. If not, I'm gonna go see my best friend in Missouri. She used to live in Arkansas, but she's up in Missouri now. Or my grandpa in Michigan City. Family. I'm gonna see the family or my best friend.
Hey.
Oh, and then we'll go to Seoul together with me, David, and I.
Yeah. Listen.
Where y'all going to Seoul?
When do y'all think y'all going to Seoul?
November.
When do y'all think y'all going to Seoul? Y'all think y'all going
in November?
Okay.
Makes it space.
I'm gonna pray for y'all, inshallah. Okay, I'll pray for y'all. Okay.
$12.
I'll put some $2 out for that. Okay.
And we already have our passports, so
you know. So Kalisa said, what about folks just dining or drinking outside? Oh, yeah. I took that off. Sorry.
Well, I think we pressed it at the same time.
Yes.
I can know my job.
Yeah.
Yes, we could do a group travel, Callisto. I'm hella down.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm not going to be going to any restaurants. I just am not going to be sitting down in any restaurants right now.
Yeah, no restaurants now. Sorry.
Even if everything is opened, I just don't feel the need to sit at some restaurants and sit down and be with folks in that way. Like, I could take my food to go.
Okay.
So that will be a minute for me.
Or make my own food.
Yes. Restaurants are a no, for real.
No dining for me.
Yeah.
Restaurant. I'll do takeout or Grubhub.
Right. Exactly.
Listen. Also, shout out to Brown Girl Cooks and Brown Liquor Co.
Okay.
And Brown Liquor Co. for making sure.
Brown Liquor delivery.
That stuff.
Weekend, y'all.
Yo, those drinks are hitting it. Those drinks are hitting it.
Brown Liquor drink. That's why I'm sitting up here like.
Listen. That's gonna be strong. So if y'all in Seattle, y'all need to look at Brown Liquor Co. If you are someone that imbibes, they make the best.
I'm not a drinker, but this drink is good.
That's good.
That's probably why I don't. Yes.
You really just need one.
Right. I'm so glad y'all shouted that out. On the physical distancing conversation I had this past weekend with Christy, she said something that it brought so many things to light. She was talking about Black women and during the time of slavery, how the Black women were in the kitchens cooking for these white folks. Mm-hmm. And she said at any point in time, those women could have killed those people. Mm-hmm. And they did not, and they kept feeding those people. And we were talking about what's going on with the protests and things like that. I just think, again, it's like, and sorry to bring this up, but y'all brought up Christy, which that has been staying with me. And I've said it, and I keep saying it. At any point in time, any given time, we as Black folks could have killed all of y'all. We had the means, we had the know-how, but we did not.
The revenge plan tactic.
The reason was very clear. And especially when you get to Black women and femmes in that time period of just continuously feeding you and nurturing you and feeding you, and you treated them like garbage, and they could have killed you. So the things that Black people are asking for right now, they are at the minimum actually so profound and yet so basic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, instead of giving all this money to the police, invest in systems that will help our children in our communities. Healthcare, so it can be easier for us to get access to healthcare. Like, just the most basic things. So that just brought that up for me. Just a big, like, we just ask to be treated fairly. And we could have killed you.
Yeah.
But instead you kill us. So anyway, just want to throw that out there. It's transformation of thought process. Something to think about. What, Mason? You got something to say?
Not on camera, I don't. Inshallah will not catch me with that. That's a trap. I have nothing to say about that.
That is so...
Well, you'll get the exclusive next week.
Yes.
Not on camera. Not even in the room. Okay.
Yes. We have 3 minutes.
Our favorite one.
Oh yeah. What's your last question?
Where's your joy?
Where's your joy? Listen, y'all, I'm telling you again, like the news that my friend shared with me yesterday changed my whole outlook. Like, I think, listen, I told her yesterday, I was like, that was better than therapy. Watching your friends do good and do well in the world and manifest some things they've been waiting for. And I'll be able to talk about it more at the end of the month because I do want to tell y'all about it at some point because I think it's important for people to know when Black trans people are doing well in the world, just the natural things they're doing. But yeah, my joy is with my friends right now. Definitely.
Hey.
Thank you for entering that. My joy is definitely in me, in my success, me in having good days, me in being like, oh shit, you're getting a new computer, a new car this weekend. You know, you're surviving. You're doing what, you know, you want to be doing. You know, you're standing. My joy has definitely been in seeing other people during this time find moments of joy. And so when I can see you having joy, I can have joy. I don't know. I just feel like, and then when I have joy, I'm knowing that it's my own and that I can revel in it. So my joy it's all around me. Mm-hmm.
What is my joy? At this moment, I love the fact that I get to use this platform of social media to, one, do the things I do, talk to people, find out things about themselves. I think this is, like, for me, a platform that I learned so much about myself in talking to other people. And so I'm excited about that. I did not know I would love this as much as I did. And I do love this. And it's pretty equal to dancing, if not a little bit more than dancing right now. This is how I connect. I'm not an introverted person, so I need to connect with people. And one way that I connect with people is talking to people. There'll be some more stuff coming out really soon about some other thing that I'm doing with some amazing people. And we say amazing, but these people are really dope as hell. And that will be coming in June 29th. So look out for that, and I'll talk about that more later. But this feels right for me. So my joy is in doing what feels right for me. And and not apologizing for that.
Ashe.
My joy is using my social media platform to get people to understand the crap that they're doing wrong in the art world. And as I hold them accountable, also holding myself accountable. So that's it.
Thank you. Love it. We hope all of you find your joy during this time and revel in it. Yes, your joy is life, Robert. Absolutely. Yes, definitely find your joy, y'all. Relax, replenish, restore. Because I think the more we center our joys, the more we recognize what actually is joy, we'll actually be able to sit in them and have them. You know, we'll know what the low day is versus the high day. So definitely like hold on to your joy for as long as you can when you can have it, whether it's 5 minutes, an hour, a day, a week, a year. Just find your joy, y'all. It's so important, especially in this work.
Right. Thank you all. That's it for the living room. Catch us next week. We will also be a part of the We Out Here Festival, produced and created by Michael B. Main. So we'll have more information about that. We're still going to get you the same time. We're still going to be here at 8 o'clock. Catch us on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, The Living Room Seattle, at The Living Room Seattle. Give us feedback about the platform. We know that it's different. We love it.
We love StreamYard, so I'm all about this. I'm all about
it. But you know, we care about your thoughts also as much as we can care about your thoughts.
Which is a lot. We can care about your thoughts a lot. Okay.
Mason is so hardcore and also such a softy and just
so gushy.
And I'm just like, look, do what y'all need to do.
Okay.
I'm a big crybaby too, so that's it. Yes, thank y'all for the comments.
Everyone, we love you. Your support means so much, like for real. Like we do this for fun. We do it for y'all. We do it for ourselves. So thank you. We're having so much fun.
And if there's anything that you would like us to cover, please leave that in the comments too. Like if there's things that you want us to talk about or make sure that we delve into more. We are always down for your feedback because we love hearing what you think.
Yes.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Yes.